What does the future of planet Earth look like? Will we have enough food, water, energy, and space to support the current trends that are occurring? Will humans be able to survive longer due to technology advances, or will something new affect our ability to live as long as we do now? Will our planet retain its current state, or will climate change force us to take extreme action to survive as a species? It is clear that trends are emerging in the world that suggest that population growth on Earth is expected to slow, similar to the population of yeast in a petri dish. Barring any new variables, humanity seems to be entering a flattening period of population growth. Although population growth is expected to flatten in an S-type curve, energy consumption has skyrocketed since the Industrial Revolution. Water consumption is also directly affected by the increase in energy consumption, but seems to be slowing, unlike the consumption of energy. The ability of our planet to support our growing population is directly affected by the type of foods and items we are able to make with the limited amount of water we have. Foods and items like hamburgers and computer chips are among the largest consumers of water. It's funny how those are two of my favorite things. I guess I'll have to cut back on buying PlayStations and going in and out. Consumption is also important for materials such as metals for computer parts and construction. It is important to limit the use of these materials to allow for continued improvement of infrastructure for the future and not just now. It's funny how a ginormous infrastructure bill just passed Senate. We are currently going through the largest pandemic in the history of the United States, surpassing the death toll of the Spanish flu. It is clear that health is an important topic for most people around the world. With leading diseases like heart disease, cancer, and stroke, scientists are focused on fighting the root cause of these ailments. There are many advances in bioengineering and genetic sciences, as well as nanotechnology, biotechnology, robotics, information and communication technology, and cognitive science. The acceleration of the advancement of technology provides the potential for a brighter future. We all must lean on the hope that these technologies will lead us to a brighter future. The next thing affecting humans are complex systems such as climate change on our planet that threaten our ability to survive as a species. Humans have differing effects on different systems, but it has been observed that humans have a large effect on the carbon and nitrogen cycles on our planet. We as a collection have contributed to two phenomena, such as acid rain, smog, and the greenhouse effect. These cycles are constantly changing, which makes them difficult to solve. A chemical that is known to have negative effects on our planet, chlorofluorocarbons, which was banned after it was observed to significantly affect the ozone. We need to take these actions on leading causes of climate change. Socio-economical issues play a large role in the world's problems. With the world working as a globalized system, it is becoming more apparent how technology is having a larger effect on how we act and what we believe. For example, our phones have a large influence on what we believe to be true. Companies like Facebook and Twitter have been under scrutiny from Congress recently for providing users with information that was not backed by the full truth. Groups on the internet are now able to do more and more powerful things, like incite riots onto the United States Capitol building. The economical side of this problem acts synergistically with this problem by allowing powerful and rich individuals to have the ability to spread information whether it is true or false. We see people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump exploiting the power of Twitter by tweeting about worthless coins that were made as a joke, or spreading their opinion as facts about the results of an election. The majority of the world's wealth is becoming more and more unbalanced, and it is landing in the palms of the hands of a small list of individuals. These individuals are more effectively able to control a population of people. It is a widely held belief that a more evenly distribution of wealth and income between a society would be beneficial for a sustainable society. Many countries are being left behind as technology advances and wealth becomes more unevenly distributed. This is causing some countries to have the inability to keep up with more economically powerful countries. An example of this is how internet access is not accessible to everyone around the world. This is leaving many people behind in a ginormous revolution. In fact, some places don't even have clean drinking water. All right, so what is your names?
I'm Joel.
Joel and
Aiden.
Aiden. Just a quick question. What do you think the biggest problem in the world is, and how would you guys go about solving it?
So I think the biggest problem in the world is discrimination, and I would solve it by, I don't know, having everyone just love each other for who they are.
So I'm here with
Ellen Guthrie.
Ellen and
Abby.
Just asking what they think that the biggest problem in the world is and how they would solve it to solve it.
Well, first I said lack of love. Then I decided it wasn't just love, it was lack of compassion. Because you don't have to love everyone, but you have to recognize that other people are human too and have feelings and are this, you know, it's not just all about you.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of people do need to realize that we're all here together. Yeah. Do you have any input or?
Mine's less from the heart. I'd say probably the biggest problem in the world right now is the amount of carbon emissions.
Okay.
People could walk places or bike places, but instead they choose to drive in a car by themselves. They could carpool, but they don't. They could take public transportation, but they don't. And when the people in the world that actually make these decisions for us come together to talk about it, they all arrive in their own private jets and eat up our gas and our fuel and actually cause more harm than good.
All right, so I'm here with Dawn, and I'm just asking people what they think the biggest problem in the world is and how they would solve it, and Dawn has this to say.
Well, I think the biggest issue that we have right now is that relationships are changing. Human relationships are changing based on the whole digital world we live in right now. And that also detaches ourselves from the real world that we live in, that is very limited, that is our planet. So I think we're focusing a lot of energy on tech for this virtual universe that is detaching us from working on problems that could solve the limit world we actually physically live in. So I think there should be a bigger balance on the trends that you see online.
All right, so you think that technology is more of a distraction, or people are using technology in the wrong type of way, or?
I think technology is beautiful. I think it's an amazing thing that we've created with our brains, and I don't think there's negativity. There's a negative thing on the scientific method that has taken us to where we are in technology. I do feel that the social the social knowledge, and by social knowledge I mean what we see in the social networks, in TikTok and Instagram and everything, is very focused towards that virtual future world that we're being promised online, and kind of forgetting a little bit about how this technology, these funds, this investment could be also used for other problems we have in the world right now. So I don't think technology is bad. I think it's beautiful, and I hope that once we understand that we're just in the beginning of it, and there's a lot of regulations to be taken and a lot of decentralization to be taken, that the world is going to be better in the future.
Okay, so I'm here with Mandy at the park, and I'm just asking people what they think the biggest problem in the world is and how they would solve it. And here's Mandy.
Hello, I am Mandy. I believe that the biggest problem in the world is different mindsets, which I have to also say that at the same time, it is something that can also bring us together. But I think it's one of the biggest problems because people think that they're right in their own mind. And when it comes to, having conversations about what we think is going wrong, everybody has different opinions, as you're kind of doing right now. And you're going to get a lot of different answers and different perspectives. So I think that is one of our biggest problems. And once we can put our pride and ego aside, we'll be able to have deeper, more understanding conversations and points of view. It's more about the acceptance of other perspectives, and then finding ways to not just override one perspective, but seeing how you can bring different ones together. And we've been able to do that in the past, but I think it's such a prevalent problem that we continue to come across. And from there, it just creates all the other problems you see in the world.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
It's like cooperation, unity.
Right. No one has to be right or wrong. It's just about...
Yeah, acceptance. Hello, with Owner here at the park, and I'm just asking everybody what they think the biggest problem in the world is and how they would go about solving it. Here's Owner for you.
Hey there. So I got a complicated answer and a simpler solution to it. So I think the biggest problem in the world is wealth, land, and resource distribution. And I think the solution to this would be a bit more self-love and less competition between the beings, because the more you get, you always want more. And this is how the countries are also divided up. So if in the end, if we had more self with each other, we will feel more accomplished, and then we would want less things in our lives, and that would create more resources for the people that need it. And then once they achieve these, once they have access to these resources, they will have more wealth, and then they would flourish their souls even more, and then most of the problems in the world will be solved because most of the people would be happy in the world. Yeah, I think if we come more united with ourselves, then it would be, it would spread across the world. And I come from a poorer country, but I'm here. I'm pretty lucky to be here, and I'm pretty lucky to be born to begin with. I've got a good life, but there are lots of people around the world that are not as lucky as I am. And just like when we had pen pals before the internet happened, we would write each other's letters and stuff like that. Maybe nowadays we could have, donation families or something like that. If I could, make the education of a poorer family in Africa happen just by the spare bucks that I'm making right now, I think it will be great.